Good morning. I hope you're all well. If you've watched my previous video, you'll know I've been working on some new journals. So today I'd like to show you the first of them. So I've made 3 journals. They're all hardcover journals. I've tied this one with a silk sash. So this is 100% silk. And that's the closure. So obviously you can remove that to open the book. On the front cover, I've added this beautiful floral image. So there's this lovely rose here. I've also added some gold leaf and some heat embossing here. And this little paper cluster made up of pages from vintage books. And then on top of that, I've put a metal nameplate and the word journal. The word journal can just slip out of the top of here, so you just push it up and then grab it and pull it out, and then you could make a different title for the book if you wanted. I've put metal book corners on here, and the spine is made up of a piece of snippet roll that I've made. So I'm not sure if you will have watched the video of me making this, but if you'd like to look, I'll link it down below. I'll also link the video that I made when I was making these journals, so it will show how I added the gold leaf and the heat embossing. So you might want to have a little look at that to see the work in progress. Might be interesting. So the snippet roll is a piece of fabric, and then I've added buttons, pieces of lace, ribbon, and you can see I've done some slow stitching. So I've stitched some little flowers here, some French knots here. So there's lots of interest on the spine. You may also notice that I haven't added a tassel. I usually put tassels on my journals. I didn't want to add a tassel because I thought it would cover up all these lovely pieces on the snippet roll. But what I have done is made this chain of beads, and it's on a bulb pin, so it will just clip onto the spine of the book. So just open the bulb pin, slip it through. I've made, can you see here, I've made a little lace tab at the top of the book. So the bulb pin can just clip onto that and then dangle down the spine without obscuring the pretty snippet roll. Let me just show you that close up. So they're all glass beads, and on the end here there's a little ceramic bead with rosebuds on it. So I think that looks really lovely. For the back of the book, I've chosen this lovely checkered image. I've also added some gold leaf and some heat embossing, and you can see where the backing of the snippet roll wraps around here. So this is just a piece of fabric which has a lovely frayed edge, and then you have your metal book corners there. I've also added a couple of coats of Liquitex to the front and back covers just to protect them and make them more durable. The measurements of the book are 5 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches, or that's 15 centimetres by 19.5 centimetres. And the spine is 2 1/4 inches, almost 2 1/4 inches, yeah, just about, and that is 5.5 centimetres. Right, shall we have a look inside? Oh, there's 5 signatures in the book. 5 signatures all sewn in with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Right, let's have a look. Make sure I'm in frame. Here we go. So for the end papers, I chose this beautiful paper with little birds on. They've got crowns on their heads. It's really lovely. Looks vintage. It isn't, but it looks it. I've added gold leaf, and there's a piece of lace down the spine here that you can see through the, just find the end of the signature. You can see there between the signatures, so that looks lovely. So on the first page I've paper clipped in this beautiful envelope, and inside there is a note from the bookmaker. So that's just paper clipped on there, so it can be removed or moved within the book. I haven't chosen a theme as such for these journals, except that they're going to be pink, so a little bit pink. So you'll notice any digitals I've used and bits of ephemera I've chosen, I've tried to keep in the pink theme. I'll paper clip that back on later, but it just sits on there like that. So you see, by hanging it over the page, it looks beautiful on both sides. This is tea-dyed paper with a little bit of a lace image on there. I'm not sure if you can see that. This is a mixed media pocket, so I've taken the offcuts of strips of paper that I've used within the book and stuck them on a backing card, and then stenciled over it with some acrylic paint. So these are all individual strips which I've pieced together to make up this pocket. This is a piece of vintage wallpaper. Feels lovely, it's got a nice texture. I think we'll all recognise this page. This is an Edith Holden page. Chapter 1 page there, which I've distressed, so that looks lovely. In here I've put a little file folder, some bits in it, so that's just a little card that I've made. I'll also link the video of me making those. This here is just a raffle ticket, and it's number 19, and that's because this is my 19th journal. You can see there's lots of pockets. This is a little journaling card that I've made, and inside there's a pocket, so that just hooks over the top of the page. So I've made this journaling card by taking a piece of tea-dyed card, and I've used a page from a vintage book, so it's got a beautiful Kate Greenaway illustration on it. I've stitched that on using some pink thread and stitched a piece of lace up here and added some washi tape, and there's some washi tape on the back there as well. I absolutely love her illustrations, so beautiful. I really love these images. It's the other side of that Edith Holden page. So you can see there's lots of journaling space in here. Piece of lace stitched down the edge. Tea-dyed paper. Bit of an image on it there of a leaf. Don't know if you can see that. Belly band here, stitched in, and there you can see the lace down the centre there. Onto our second signature. So it's just another mixed media card in there, made up again of strips of paper that I've used within the books. Splattered it with a bit of pink acrylic paint. Made this little pocket with some embossed paper. That's avocado dyed card. This is avocado dyed paper. This is a page from an antique book. Really lovely. I think it's rag paper. Feels lovely anyway, and this is its original colour. So it's got a really lovely sort of ivory colour. Some hand-dyed paper there. Tea-dyed paper with an image in it there. And this is a vintage flower book, and I've made that into a pocket page. So this is a full page pocket. Hasn't got anything in it. Piece of washi tape across the bottom there. Some stencil in there. And this pocket, this page pocket opens the other way. Tea-dyed paper, hand-dyed paper, and that's the other side of that antique book. And the other side of the avocado dyed paper. And there, that's the end of our second signature. On to the third. This is tea-dyed paper. Oh, this is a vintage French dictionary. I think it's French. Or Spanish. Maybe Spanish. That's a vintage doily. Some handmade paper with some inclusions in it. Got lovely texture. Some ledger paper there. And this is a piece of vintage writing paper. Little pocket there, and that's just a piece of paper that you can do some journaling on. Obviously not on that side because it's quite busy, but inside is just plain tea-dyed. This is the centre of the middle signature. So on the string I've just put number 19 because that's the book number, and I've signed it there. This is a vintage postcard. Down the edge of this page here I've stitched some more scraps of paper. So they're just scraps that I've used within the book, and then I've punched them with a hole punch, not a hole punch, a paper punch, and stuck them on the edge and then stitched down there with some pink thread. Some vintage music paper there, and that just folds out, and in there I've just put a piece of pretty paper for journaling on. Here we have another whole page pocket, and this is watercolour. So I've used watercolour paints and made this lovely paper. I was really pleased with how that came out. It looks lovely in a pink journal. Another pocket here, and these are vintage Brook Bond tea cards. I'll link the video of me making these down below in case you want to watch that. Along the edge of this pocket I've put some gilding wax. I don't know if you can see it in this light. Stenciled the pocket there, and that's sewn in. Inside this little fold out, this is a piece of vintage map, and it's actually on cloth. I don't know if you can, I mean backed with cloth. Not sure if you can see it. See if I can focus on it. But it's very lovely. It's a nice texture. Another vintage flower book there. And here I've made another little series of pockets. Just put some bits in there. That's just a piece of goldy paper. Little plain tag there with some washi tape on it. And this lovely image of a little girl in her tutu. So pretty. Avocado dyed paper. Oh, that's a fold out, so that makes a nice big, oh, can't see that, folded off the edge. There we go. And then on the other side, it wraps around and makes a pocket, a little pocket there. And this is just a page of Today I Am Thankful For. That's another whole page pocket there, made up of that watercolour paper. Vintage music paper. Tea-dyed paper with an image on it. This here is a little corner tuck, but that can be removed or moved within the book. So I've done put a bit of gold leaf on that and some music paper there, so a little bit of collage in there. A piece of vintage wallpaper there. Lovely textured paper. Some more watercolour paper there. Here we have a little envelope that I've bound into the book, and inside that is a little vintage photo with a deckled edge. Piece of vintage atlas there. Invoice there. Here I've stenciled an image and also added some gold leaf to part of it. I don't know if you can see in the light, in this light. But I was very pleased with how that came out. I think it looks lovely. More stencil in there, grid paper. This is a little journaling card, and it's got a piece of, just a square of parchment paper in the middle there. Well, not in the middle, but there. And I've stitched around it. Piece of lace sewn on there. This is, now excuse my ignorance, but that is either Chinese or Japanese. Sorry, I don't know which. So it's taken from a Chinese or Japanese book, and it was a vintage book. Done some stenciling down the edge of that page. That's folded up there just to make a little tuck. Another beautiful floral image there. And there, that's the centre of the signature. So I've left the strings quite long, so you can add something to them if you want to. But if you pull that and untie it, it won't come undone. I've knotted it underneath the bow. So don't worry if you wanted to pull those or even snip them, that will be fine. In this little pocket I have a embossed bingo card, and I've added some gold gilding wax to that. This is another flap out, fold out, I don't know what you call it, flap out, does that make sense? So it's a fold out, and I've made a little pocket in it, and in there is a lovely vintage card, postcard. Back in frame, there we go. Little envelope here, I think it's empty actually. And that's the other side of that Chinese or Japanese paper. Looks so lovely, this writing, beautiful. Wish I could write like that. In this little pocket I've made a little booklet. There's a pocket in the front and the back. Some Tim Holtz paper, and then just a few pages for journaling on. A little eyelet there and a tiny tag. This is a page from a vintage I Spy book. Look at that. I remember these books. I'm showing my age now. So you used to have to look out for like a partridge and then put when you saw it, and you score points. They used to do them for like in the countryside and wildflowers. Used to really like those. Oh, this pocket has just got two paint chips in them. They're not old, they're new, but I thought they looked nice in that pocket. So it's Party Rings and Amour are the colours. This is a fabric pocket and a piece of lace sewn on the bottom there. A piece of lace wraps round onto this page. The other side of that map book, some information inside the flap there. And the other side of the envelope, which I have opened. And in there is just a little piece of pretty paper to write on. There's another envelope here, paper clipped on. And in there is just a vintage flower book page and a little card. Tea-dyed, I think. And that just flaps over the top of the page there. Some more watercoloured paper there. Well, watercolour paper with watercolour on it. And that's the back of the book. So the end papers for the front and the back are the same image with some gold leaf on them. So I was really happy with how that came out. I've got another 2 in this series, another 2 books, so I will get round to showing you those shortly over the next couple of days, hopefully. They've each got different covers, they're all quite different. They've each got snippet roll spine, and they're very similar inside, but as I say, the outsides are quite different. And obviously inside, where there's vintage pages used and antique pages, they'll be different as well. But I think they look lovely. I hope you like them, and I will see you again soon with my next 2. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.